All right, welcome back to another edition of the 2023 MLB Draft Show. And I tell you what, we're back in the lab. We're back at Wake Forest, New York's finest, Teddy McGraw. Teddy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Hey man, let's kick this thing off the right way, the way we always do it. Teddy McGraw, tell the viewers, tell the listeners, who's Teddy McGraw on the field, how you like to operate on the mound, and then off the field, passions, hobbies, talents, ways to kill your time.
So on the field, I'd say I'm just a baseball player. I love to play baseball. I love to pitch. I love to have the ball in my hands. That's kind of how I operate. When I'm not in the game, I love to play catch. Coach usually has to tell me to stop playing catch, like every day, pretty much. And then off the field, I'm pretty simple. I don't do much outside of workout. I just pretty much just hang with my buddies, and we watch whatever sports is on TV, and kind of just lay low a little bit and just hang out. So
simple man, Teddy McGraw.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you mentioned that you always like having a ball in your hand. You love pitch. You love to pitch. You got a baseball?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, let's go over some of your pitch grips because you have thrown a number of different pitches over the last couple of years, Cape and Wake Forest. Your most current arsenal. What are your top weapons?
Yeah, so start off with two seam sinker. I just go like straight on these two seams, thumb right under. Then towards the end of last year, I started throwing a four seam, kind of just a basic four seam grip, just straight across here. My slider grip, I kind of always just had this since I was younger. Just grabbed it straight on, right there, just pull through. And then my changeup, I have the same changeup grip as Rhett actually. He kind of taught me it, so it's the same thing, just across this horseshoe right here. Pretty much all on the fingers, and letting it do its work there.
You guys both kind of have that fork going.
Yeah. I don't know. He showed it to me about like halfway through last year. I started using it, and it's pretty easy. So,
let's talk about that sinker, right? Because you have one of the more barrel breaking sinkers, I'd say, in college baseball. I mean, it's really got a lot of movement. Have you always been a sinker guy? Do you take a lot of pride in your sinker, or do you consider yourself someone who could eventually move to more of a four seam centric type of profile?
Yeah, I mean, like in high school, I didn't really know much about pitch movement. I kind of just threw four seams. And when I got to Wake, it was after I had Tommy John, so I hadn't been pitching for a while, so I still just threw four seams. Then my whole freshman year, that's all I threw, all four seam. They were pretty bad. And then freshman year, I went to the Cape. I just totally switched from all four seam to all two seam, and they started sinking, I guess, and missing barrels and breaking bats. So kind of just found success in it and kind of just kept with it. Then last year I added the four seam just to give another look to the hitter, change the eye level a little bit. So
I like it. How much of the switch to the sinker two seam approach was Cape driven, or was it individually focused, or was it the pitching lab? Because obviously, Wake Forest is kind of renowned for the data, the metrics, really getting into the laboratory. Is it something that was instructed to you, or did you kind of just mess around with it?
I mean, freshman year, Coach Hendricks told me that I should probably be throwing two seams just based on like messing around in the lab a little bit. But at the time I was kind of just like a little bit, I wouldn't say lost, but I was just trying to throw strikes, and I worried like the ball's running 20 inches and whatever sinking, and how would I be able to throw strikes with that if I can't even throw it with a straight four? So, after the end of my spring freshman year, I kind of just figured, why not just give it a shot and throw them, and then it just worked. So
yeah. How much pride have you taken in the pitching lab itself? Because like I mentioned, Wake Forest, you guys pump out pitchers like it's nobody's business. Is it something that you like to get at? You like to see the numbers? You like to diagnose the results and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I do. We have a big team that works in the lab, and they do a good job of giving us the information we want to see, whether that be like start to start or post bullpen. And like this fall, we were shut down, so we were pretty much just throwing bullpens, and every bullpen was in the lab, just pretty much doing like pitch design and stuff. But when it comes to the year, we throw all of our bullpens outside. We don't really like tinker with that much stuff in the lab. We pretty much just look at it from start to start just to see consistency or see maybe like we felt something different today. Do the numbers back that up and maybe like why? So yeah, I mean we get into it a little bit. We like to use it as a tool. So I really like it. I feel like I've taken advantage of it a lot since I've been here.
So how'd you take advantage of it this fall? Because I love the fact that you guys throw everything in the lab during the fall. I think it's a great way to prescribe little changes that can really improve the arsenal. What was the one focus for you, Teddy? Was it depth on the slider? Did you want more of a sweeper? Did you want to, get that four seam to a spot where it could be a weapon? Kind of where was your focus this fall?
Yeah, for me, it was more just consistent four seam shape.
Hmm.
I like the way that my slider moved last year. Numbers on it are pretty good. Maybe get it like a tick harder, but that's not much that I do like bullpen wise or pitch design wise. But mostly just consistent four seam shape, just to get it to a place where it's pretty consistent. And because sometimes I'll throw four seams and they'd be good, and then I'll randomly throw one that was just like god awful. So just trying to trying to figure out like what happens when I throw those bad ones, what's going on and where my fingers are, or et cetera, et cetera. Um, I also kind of messed around with a curveball uh, throughout the fall, just to see, and it's been good. But we'll see if we get to the point where I can throw it in games. So
Just totally adding the full four seam curveball tunnel overnight, huh?
I wouldn't say totally adding. I don't know if it's going to be what point we'll get to it when the season starts with throwing it for strikes and the consistency of it, but maybe we'll see.
Hey man, what's it like pitching around Rhett Lauder, Camden Minacci, Sean Sullivan, Josh Hartle? I mean, you guys are so loaded on the mound. Is there an aspect of everyone's competing with everyone, or this has got to be the best grouping of arms you've ever been around?
Yeah, I mean it's exciting. I don't know if I could say it's the best ever because my freshman year, when I was in Brewster, we had a pretty good staff. We had
Yeah.
a lot of guys drafted, um, but it's exciting to be around them, just because everyone's just like so unique in their own ways. Anytime someone gets on the mound in the lab and you see their numbers, pretty much everyone's got their own like unique stuff. So it's cool to see. Everyone kind of operates in their own ways. Obviously, Cam operates in his way, all the weird stuff he does, and Rhett's kind of his own way, and Hartle's his own way, and Sean Sullivan is his own way on the mound. So it's fun. We got a really deep staff, and it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of guys competing for innings. So I'm really excited for the spring.
Yeah, it should be good. I should mention Keener too. Keener, I'm a
Yeah.
big Seth Keener guy for sure.
Michael
Uh,
Massey from Tulane transferred here. He's really good. We got a couple grad transfers that are pretty good. A couple seniors that are also really good, and a couple freshmen that'll compete for innings too. So it's
it's gonna be the Wild West at Wake Forest, man. I'm excited. God forbid the program have to go through any injuries, but I'm not sure there's another program in the country that's more equipped if a guy has to miss a couple of weeks. So obviously, should speak some confidence into the program there.
right.
So what does this winter look like for you, Teddy? Are you bigger, stronger, faster? More whippy, flexible? Kind of. What's your development plan with what we got 7 weeks to go until the season starts? What are you focusing on?
Yeah. So the whole fall and the winter is kind of the same thing where we got after in the weight room a lot, but more so lately, it's been just trying to get a little bit more mobile, open up my hips a little bit better. Um, we're working a little bit on little delivery change that we think is going to be a good change. So basically, just trying to gain a little bit of mobility to make that easier, and then just actually doing the change and seeing results on the mound.
So obviously, you've seen Wake Forest is at the top, near the top of a lot of preseason rankings. Your name is kind of plastered all over draft boards. What's the goal for Wake Forest in 2023? What's the goal for Teddy McGraw this spring?
Yeah, I mean the goal is just to get to Omaha, and then when we get to Omaha, compete, try and win a national championship. Our program hasn't been to Omaha in a while, so obviously that's the goal, as it should be the goal for every program really. But we really like our chances. Really like the way that our team has come together from a chemistry standpoint and all that. So it's exciting. Goals for me, I don't know if I would say I had any specific goals. Maybe try and win more games than Rhett. That would be the best way to go about it, I guess.
I like that. Okay, so let's hit you with a couple of rapid fire questions here. We've gone over Wake, we've gone over the data and the metrics. I kind of like to throw some pitches to you out of left field here.
All right.
So Teddy, Rhett, I'll give you Cusick. I'll give you anyone that has pitched there at Wake Forest over the last few years while you've been there. Who's the one guy that would take last in a foot race?
Oh, and a foot race? All right. So I never really saw Cusick like sprint that much that I can remember. But I know Kaminasi's really fast. I'm sure Cusick has pretty long strides, and I know that I'll beat Rhett in a race. So I'll probably say Rhett would come in last.
You're just dogging on Rhett over these last couple questions. All right, second question. You're going to pitch in a lot of big settings this year. Over the last 2 years, all the schools that you've pitched at, what fan base was underwhelming? What fan base didn't bring enough fire?
So when we played NC State last year, it was like the last weekend of the regular season. We were when I threw it, we were up 2-0 in the series. We kind of jumped out to an early lead, so we didn't give them they didn't give them much to cheer about. So they weren't very as ruthless as I was expecting. But maybe that's just because we swept them. But
yeah, that'll do it. That'll take the air out of some sales.
yeah.
All right, man. Last question for you. We always finish with this question. Random fact. What is the most random fact that Teddy McGraw knows about anything that people might find interesting?
I don't know if I have a random fact. Maybe just more of like a fun fact. So my sister, she works at the Cooperstown Baseball Hall of Fame. She has a pretty cool job there. She gets to handle a lot of cool merchandise that comes in from around the baseball community. So she sends me pictures sometimes of some cool stuff that she gets to handle at the Hall of Fame, and it's pretty cool. So
anything specific that she's had the chance to unbox or curate or anything like that?
I think she got to one time she sent me a picture of I had to text her or I have to text her after this interview, make sure it's okay for me to say this. Then
Sure.
you text you after, but she sent me a picture of Mike Trout's jersey once that she unboxed. She sent me like Yadier Molina's catcher's mask when they broke their record together with Adam Wainwright. She handled Timmy the Trump or the Met. I forgot his name, but the Mr. Met's trumpet when Edwin Diaz would do his
Oh, Timmy Trumpet.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So she got it's pretty cool. I like seeing the stuff she gets to send me. So
That's pretty cool. I can't imagine there's a whole lot of people on earth that get to handle some of that memorabilia. So yeah, I mean maybe you can get a tour sometime and you know, handle a cool bat that hit a big home run or something.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if
So
I'll be allowed to do that, but definitely want to. I've been to the Hall of Fame a couple of times, but I definitely want to go back
man,
again.
growing up in Cooperstown kind of sets a high bar for your career, doesn't it?
I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, Teddy McGraw, Wake Forest, Cooperstown, New York's own. Teddy, I'm excited to see what you're going to do this spring. I personally have Wake as the #1 team in the country going into this year, and I think you guys are on a big stage come June or July.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm excited. Thank you.